love long distance running, and I know that it does make my body more efficient at burning energy, therewith in the long run reducing my metabolic rate possibly. And my understanding, so that's a negative of long distance running, but my understanding is that there has been quite a lot of science showing that long distance running improves cognitive performance over time, not only acutely, which I definitely feel that I'm performing better cognitively acutely. So how does one incorporate long distance running into an exercise regimen and avoid the problem of the long recovery period that is required after such a long run that I feel great after, because after I do have a long run, then I often need several days to recover, and that doesn't allow me to get the volume of strength training in that I'd like to. So how does one incorporate long distance running into a weekly program of strength training?
Right. Okay, so I want to be very clear. All forms of exercise and activity applied appropriately will have improvements on cognitive function and health overall. Now, running, long distance running in particular, is the original ancient, probably the most, the form of activity that we evolved to do the most. So to be very clear, when you look at humans physically, right, we're known for our intelligence, we're the great tool makers, right? But when you look at humans physically, really there's only one thing that we do really well, which is run for distance. We don't do anything else, and throw with accuracy. That's it. Throw with accuracy, run for distance. Other than that, we're terrible in comparison to other animals. But when you're looking at running for distance, humans can outrun most animals for not for speed, but just for distance. And this is probably how we hunted. We probably would, throw a spear at an animal, injure it, or not, and just chase it down until it got tired, and then killed it. And we've actually observed this in modern hunter-gatherers. So running is a great form of exercise. The problem with running is that for most of human history, we evolved running since we could walk. We did it all the time. It's a skill, just like anything. And when you don't do it, you lose that skill. So the problem, and I'm sure you encounter this, when the average person, the average adult says, I'm going to start running, because they just didn't do it since they were children, they don't take the time to really learn the skill of running, which can take a while. And you see a higher injury rate. And so there's all these shoes designed to offset the imbalances and all that other stuff. But if you're somebody that can run well, running is exceptional. The other drawback to running is you have to do it. It takes a lot of time. Unlike resistance training, where I could do 35, 45 minutes twice a week and get, the results I was looking for, running is best done frequently. If you just ran once a week, you definitely get some results. But where you really get the results of running is when you can do it relatively frequently. All right, now let's go back to what your question was, which had to do with recovery. Number one, I would limit the distance of my runs so that I don't feel so wasted afterwards. Now, there's nothing wrong with testing yourself. You may want to limit that to once a week. The rest of your runs should leave you feeling vibrant and good, because if you push yourself that hard all the time to where you need a few days just to recover, then sure, you're exercising your mental capacity for punishment and whatnot, but your body will start to break down. You start to produce a lot of oxidative stress, and you can actually notice just over time you start to get some health issues as a result. So number one, I would say reduce the intensity or the duration of running, so that for the most part, not always, you can always test yourself once a week or so, but for the most part, when you run, after you're done, you felt like you run, you're a little tired, but you're not totally wasted. The second thing I would say is to fuel your body properly. Make sure you eat adequate carbohydrates and proteins for sure. Runners that I've worked with tend to focus on the carbs and forget about the proteins. And a high protein diet is very good for recovery and repair. So make sure you have a good diet, and especially after the run, to replenish glycogen and to kickstart the recovery process. You can also try, if you do push yourself a little too hard and you're like, wow, I'm going to be wasted for a few days. Sauna use has been shown to have a lot of effect on recovery. Ice baths have also been shown to have a lot of beneficial effects for recovery. So you can try doing those two things. As far as resistance training is concerned, if you love running and you do a lot of running, then the goal is to use resistance training to augment, right, to benefit your running. In that case, once a week of resistance training is plenty. You don't need any more than that. Once a week, 45 minutes. I would do maybe 2 or 3 big foundational movements, and then I would do 3 or 4 correctional exercise type movements, and those would be based off of your own movement patterns. Typically with runners, I need to work on core stability, ankle and hip mobility, maybe some soft tissue work, just to really augment the miles and stuff that you're putting on your body with running. Now, in response to the metabolism comment, there's nothing wrong with having an efficient metabolism. If it naturally slows down because you run more, or you eat less, or both, or you speed it, there's nothing wrong with a slower metabolism so long as you're healthy. Now, if your metabolism slows down because of disease or whatever, that's different. But if you're healthy and your metabolism slows down, there's nothing wrong with it. The only reason why I tell people that you probably want to speed up your metabolism is because it just works better for modern life. You can eat more. But if you don't have a problem, with diet, you eat adequately, and you're like, I don't need to eat more. I'm fine. I'm happy, and I don't mind the efficiency that my metabolism is developing from running. Perfectly fine, perfectly healthy, nothing wrong with it. So I think sometimes people get a little confused when we talk about the metabolism, and they think, oh no, I'm slowing metabolism down. That's inherently a bad thing. It's not. It's just for the average person, when their metabolism slows down, that tends to contribute to obesity because they just want to eat more food.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. You mentioned 2 to 3 times a week earlier for maintenance of strength, and now you mentioned 1 time a week of exercise.
Once a week. Yeah, once a week strength. If you're doing a lot of running, and that's your main form of exercise, once a week is plenty because you're augmenting your running. When I talked about 2 days a week, that was for the average person who just wants to do some exercise to improve their health. They don't have much time to spend in the gym. So 2 days a week resistance training, that would be it.
Right. What's your take